it, and then there it is, and it's a little checkbox, and then bam.
I see. And so this starts streaming now live on YouTube.
Right now, yeah.
And it says you can release your video order. So people are able to order it? You're able to, I'm
Well,
curious.
you can release. I see that you can release your video order here. Oh, I don't know what that is. I'm not ordering anything. I don't pay for it.
Yeah, I mean, maybe people want to order different classes.
Well, maybe. I've never actually never even read that box.
I love it.
It just appears there. Yeah, but I don't know.
Yeah, before anybody can order, it's gone,
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm ready whenever you are. And
okay, well, it's streaming right now, so I'll let you go from here.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Hi, everybody. Today we're going to be talking about some really fun iPhone tricks that have been around a while, and also some new ones. And we're going to find out ways to surprise our friends, family, and grandkids, which is hard since they seem to know everything. The very first trick that I want to teach you has been around since iOS 3. Now, iOS is the operating system. That's what OS stands for. And the I means Apple. So all things Apple seem to have an I in front of it. Now, at this point, we're at iOS 14. It could be 14.4 at this point. It keeps going up, but it will not be iOS 15 until September, which is when historically Apple updates its operating system to great fanfare about all the new features. And of course, every update, there are many, many new features. This has been around since iOS 3, so it's been around for years, this trick. And one of the most frustrating things I've found is if I'm typing a text message, I find that sometimes it totally disappears. Now, if I'm sitting there tapping and making mistakes and fixing mistakes, and I finally got a good paragraph out, and I'm ready to press send if I'm texting someone, and the whole thing disappears, what could be more frustrating? So I wanted to show you that the first trick is that you're able to shake your phone. You can't even do this on any other system like Android because it's built into the phone. So as you can see, if I shake the phone, it comes up with undo typing. And so when I hit undo, what you'll see is deleted text has returned. This is just a wonderful thing to use, but unfortunately right now you'll see it's highlighted. So the best thing to do is tap away from it and proceed to either send or add more information. So the undo means shake your phone. And I have used this for emails also. Emails are very easy to delete when they're all sitting there in your email program all in a row. Have you ever deleted emails by taking your finger and swiping it to the left? Just swipe and it goes away. Each one goes away. And you can have a delete party. My problem is I may party too much, which means that I've just hit swipe several times and there's a great letter in there that I deleted and I didn't even want to. What do? I shake my phone and it says undo. When I tap undo, the email comes back miraculously. So the shaking your phone works on many different levels of undoing your last action. It doesn't always work perfectly depending on the context or the scenario, but most of the time I've been able to get text back, emails back. So this is a wonderful way to get back information that you thought you deleted. Another important issue that we should talk about has to do with some other texting features that can be done. So when you go into the text, as you can see, I have a text message going. Now, if I have typed some things and I realize that I have made a mistake, And instead of saying hello, I have typed hello F. It's very difficult many times. Remember, your cursor is at the very end flashing. Normally people press their backspace key, as you can see right above the return, to edit. But actually, Apple has added a wonderful trick in which you can press your space bar. If you press your space bar, the keyboard goes away, and as you move see, the keyboard's gone. It's not a functioning keyboard anymore because I pressed the space bar and started moving my finger, and as you can see, I can get right there where the F is. Let go, the keyboard comes back, and I can now press the backspace button. So I did want you to know that if I press backspace, it says, hello, I need to talk to you about. So it's very, very important to know this, that if you've just done a lot of texting, you don't have to text again. You don't have to delete everything and start all over, because that would be very, very frustrating and has been for many people. It gets to the point you say, listen, I can't attend this Zoom session class because I'm too busy deleting. If it gets that bad, you know you've got to do something. So as you can see in the text area, I have a great keyboard and I'm ready. And of course, I just tap at the end, so the cursor is flashing at the end. Now remember, once again, I have a functioning keyboard. Pressing the space bar turns the keyboard into what's called a trackpad. It turns it into a mouse, basically, so that you can, and remember, you don't release the space bar, okay? You need to be pressing, but you can move away from the space bar if you want, as long as you keep the long press going. And you put your cursor between two letters, let go, and then you can use all your keys to fix things. And you can easily get back to where you were before. So those are many tricks that will save, they're of many tricks that will save you time. Now, many times you would like to find out why do I have blue bubbles? You'll notice that you have the color blue, and in some emails, some text, you have green. What is the difference? It's important to know that if you have a blue bubble, it means you're talking or texting with a fellow iPhone user. That's really important because there are a lot of bells and whistles that are associated with texting other iPhone users. If you have something that is green, for instance, I'm seeing if I can find a green one, it will, yes, see, then you are working with an Android or other system, and they're going back, there's no bells and whistles at all. It's basic texting. It's called SMS. So you may have two children, and one has an iPhone, the other has an Android phone, and there's a lot more you can do texting the one who has the iPhone. For instance, if it's a wonderful, exciting occasion, and you want to send hearts or balloons or confetti, you can do that. And I'm going to show you how. So remember, I have not sent this text yet. And normally to send it, I would tap that arrow. Instead, I'm going to press down that arrow. When I press down that arrow, it has brought my text to a new screen where I can do all kinds of things, make it bounce, make it grow, this particular message. But instead, I'm going to tap where it says screen at the top. I'm sorry, it's reversed. It's hard to read, but as you can see, there are many different, I can keep swiping to see all, look at the balloons that come up. This is what a fellow iPhone user would see. Look at the confetti coming down. You see what I'm saying? So all you would have, in the heart, all you would have to do as from this screen is to either press the arrow next to your text, you see, or press X. X means you've decided against it and you're not sending that feature. There are about 10 or 15 different effects like spotlights and fireworks and all kinds of things. And the very first one repeats the first word, hello, 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 all over. So many people get to the third or fourth or fifth. They like the heart, they like the confetti. So this is just a way to surprise people. It's been around a long time, but it's surprising how many people do not use it or know about it. So I think that's really important to know these texting tricks that you can use. So once again, if you need to get back text that you deleted, you will shake your phone and tap undo. Or if you need to do some editing, you can press and hold down the space bar in the middle of your text, and suddenly the whole bottom of your computer, the keyboard area, not your phone, will turn into a mouse trackpad. And so you can get right in between the letters. And if you want to send out a message and add balloons to it or hearts, as long as you're sending it to a fellow iPad or iPhone user, you would press down on send rather than tap send, because if you tap send, the message is gone. If you press down and then you tap on screen at the top, you will be able to swipe and select one wonderful effect that you can send to someone. And then you can tap the arrow to send it, or you can press X to say, forget it. Now, sometimes when I'm texting someone who has an iPhone and my bubbles are blue, they sometimes come to me as green, which is kind of alarming because it's not that they got a new phone. What it is they're in a bad reception area or a dead zone. So I think that's very, very important to know that they are not able to have the full capabilities of their iPhone and have blue bubbles instead of green. So if you ever have an iPhone user and you're texting them and it's suddenly green, they're not in a good area for reception. And this won't work for them that we just showed you with the heart. So I think it's very important to know a few interesting texting tricks that will save you a lot of time and will be a lot of fun with your friends and family. So when we get back to our home screen, you will notice all the different apps that we have. And it's very important to look at editing and taking pictures. So I wanted to tap the camera, and you will notice the camera has a grid. Do you notice that the camera has a grid on it? This is because of something called the rule of three. This is what photographers use all the time. They have this divided into nine little boxes, and you try to put the subject of your photo in next to one of the lines that make the boxes. Everybody always wants to center their photo when they're taking a picture, but those are the least interesting kinds of images. So it's very, very important if you use the rule of thirds. And the way that you would actually program this is you would go back to your home screen, you would tap settings, which is the gray button that looks like a gear. When you tap settings and you go down to photo, it's way, way down, music, TV, photos, you'll see when you tap photos, I'm sorry, you're going to tap camera. You're going to actually tap camera and you will see grid. Now my grid is green because I've enabled it. It helps me take really interesting pictures. Also, you may notice it's a new feature that says mirror front photos. You may notice that when you take a picture, it's like a mirror and things are reversed. So let's say I had a ponytail right on the right, what I have the right side. In the picture, the ponytail would show on the left side if I take a selfie, picture. That's the way the iPhones have worked for a long time. But some people say, I don't want that. I want where my ponytail is to show on this right side. Right now I have mirror on, and that means anytime I take a picture of myself, it will reflect the reality. If I have put, let's say, some kind of flower on this side of my face and I take a picture, isn't it cute, this face makeup? Basically, it will be authentic, it will be correct when I take my selfie. But if I did not have this feature on, it would appear on the other side of my face. It has the mirror effect. So anyway, if you turn your grid on and then you go back to your camera, you will see the grid is there. And then I'll just line up something to be on the juxtaposition in the intersection between a line going down and a line going across. And those are some of the best pictures that can be taken. They're more interesting. So that's a good reason to learn how to take photos. Another thing is many of us take a photo, and right now we're in photo mode because it's white. We take this photo by pressing the white button on the bottom. Many people do not realize that they can actually use their volume buttons. I have two volume buttons on the side. If I press the volume button, let's say the high volume button, it takes a picture. So we are freed from the infamous white dot that we have to press correctly, and we can use the side button, the high volume button, to take a picture. This lets me take a landscape picture. It let me take sideways. So it's very helpful to know that you're freed from the white button. Another thing about the white button is if you have headphones and it's got volume on it, then you could actually take pictures by pressing the volume key. Just keep pressing the key. So I think that's very helpful. People don't even know you're taking pictures. If you have your headphones in and they have a volume setting here, you can just keep pressing the high volume and holding your camera like this, and it'll take a lot of pictures. Many people don't know what burst mode is, but yet they're checking their pictures and they see 150 pictures I've taken. It's very confusing. So to do that, you would actually hold down this white button or the one on the side too. And you'll notice, see, it has taken more like 15, 20 pictures within seconds. This feature is called burst. Most of the time we don't want it because we have 150 pictures of the same thing. But it's great for a high action situation. When we all get back to doing rodeos, and I'm speaking from Texas, or we go to Madison Square Garden for an event. Some people are moving very quickly around the stage. High action photos are great to capture by holding down the white button. A lot of people use it for their grandchildren who can't stop running around so fast and you can't keep them still, or perhaps a pet. You may get one of the best pictures ever because it's split-second timing. This used to be used a lot and still is in fashion photography where people are posing and every nuance is captured by the photographer so that they can get the right look, the right expression. Well, we have that ability too. So burst mode is actually found in your photos. We're working on the camera's application. Burst mode is found under photos, and you'll just see it says burst on a photo. So I think it's very important to know that why you're getting burst photos, and when you want to get it, it's invaluable. When you don't, just try not to be so heavy-handed or, with your finger on the white button. So that's a very helpful thing to know, why you're getting all these burst photos. I did want to mention some of the icons on the top you'll see, and you have something called flash, which is the very first one. And most of the time I keep my flash off. So it says auto, on, off. I usually turn it off because it washes out pictures, and usually you can provide enough light even in dark situations. In fact, if you have some of the newest iPhones, you don't need flash ever again because they are great with low light. I have seen people at restaurants, they ask everyone around the table, please help us and shine your flashlight from each phone onto the food so we can take great pictures of food. They will not use flash no matter what. They won't get such a great picture. So now that I've turned it off, I have an X through the flash, as you can see. Some of us, and most of us actually, have the bullseye that's yellow. That means that it's on. This bullseye allows me to take a live photo. Live photos are a wonderful feature for several reasons. Number one, you can press on the photo once it's been taken and it's sitting in your Photos app. And when you press on it, everything moves. For instance, we used to do still pictures and they say, I wish you could hear the beautiful spring as the water goes over the rocks. I wish you could hear the trees. We're just having a wonderful vacation. So this still picture does not do justice. Meanwhile, now if you have live photo on, which means it's yellow, when you press it, you have on, off on there. Just by pressing it, it's on and it says live. If you tap it again, it's off. Then it picks up sound and it also picks up motion. And many live photos have brought a lot of happiness to many people. The grandkids are playing. You can get at least 15 seconds of movement. It's not a video. It's not big enough it's not long enough for a video, but you can send it through mail and it's maybe 10, 15 seconds. And a lot can be done in 10, 15 seconds. So I always have live photo on because it captures live action. The only problem you might have is if you are taking a picture of something when you're on a road trip and you're singing along to something on the radio, people will get the photo. When they press on it, they can see the beautiful object or the beautiful, for instance, when I was in Chattanooga Choo-Choo, there was a train. So I was taking a picture of the train, but had I been singing to a song on the radio or on CD or something, it would have been embarrassing because it does pick up what you say. If you say something like, man, I just wish I didn't have to provide this picture, but she always wants pictures, she's so annoying. As you're taking the picture, they will get what you said also. So just remember when you use live photos to be careful about what you're saying or the sounds. So that's a helpful feature though. And there's another reason I will tell you later why live photos are so wonderful. But the very first reason is that you could send it to someone who has an iPhone, they can press on it and they can see all this motion and sound. You could do your grandchild's recital and just like a key part of it. And we could hear the music for about 10, 15 seconds. The next thing is something very important. You can see the timer at the top. The timer, when you tap it, it says off 3 seconds or 10 seconds. Very, very important, because this allows you to take a picture without having to hold the camera. Many of us remember when we would take group photos, there'd be somebody who couldn't be in the picture because they had to hold the camera. And now you can just put your phone on a stand or against something, and it gets everyone in the picture, and you hit 3 seconds or 10 seconds. You run back with the group, everybody's ready to smile. It says 10, 9, 8, it counts completely down and takes the picture. So it's very, very helpful to be able to have your own timer system. Some people take a timer photo just to get themselves ready, so they have 3 seconds between every photo they take. So I think it's very, very helpful to be able to know that you have these features. Then you have these, do you see these little circles? Those are called filters. So you can do something before you take the picture. Now, most of us are used to lightening and brightening a photo after, but you can do it before. You can select, I want to take a black and white picture. I want to take a vivid, or I want to take a warm picture. When I tap this, you'll see at the bottom, it says, it's hard to read, but it's original. And if I start moving, you see it'll show a lot of pictures. So it will show a lot of pictures, vivid, warm. These are filters, and the resulting picture, and if you don't want it, you go back to original. So you can just tap the filter again and it will work very, very well. So this is very helpful because this is called pre-processing your picture, not post-processing. Why not get it right in the beginning with just the right feel? And by the way, one of these things is called Noir, N-O-I-R, and it's black and white. So it's very helpful if you wanted to take a black and white photo, you could do it. It's all set up. And I find it very, very valuable to do it. Now, of course, many of us know we have the selfie. Do you see the selfie at the very, very bottom? So that's very helpful too. You can take your selfie, and remember, if in the settings you've turned on the mirror, then that will be the most accurate selfie that you're taking. If you have a little baby that you're holding on the right side, the baby will not be showing on the left side, which is normally what happens on the iPhone. It will actually show the left side, and sometimes it's really important to people. You know, they don't like the switching around. So this is all very, very helpful. I did want to show you that right now we're in photo mode. There's something that is called, on many phones, it's called Square. Some phones it's gone away. This allows you to take not a rectangular photo, but a square photo. This is good for uploading to programs like Instagram, which likes to cut the photos in a square. You also have Pano. This allows you to take a panoramic picture. And when you tap it, you just do this. You see what I'm saying? You move your phone this way to capture it, and it will take a complete panoramic picture. So this is very, very helpful to know. And if I go the other way, you'll see I have a red video. What does that mean? Well, this means when it's red, everything has to do with taking videos. Now, one of the hardest things I've noticed when I take a video is sometimes I don't take the video because it's a circle, okay? When I start to video something, it turns into a square. So, but a lot of times I pressed it maybe twice, or wasn't thinking, and I thought I videoed this great scene, and instead it's a circle. And so you always want to make sure when you're tapping video that it's turned into a square. That means you're actually taking a video and it's recording. And when you tap it again, the circle means it's not recording. It's just you can record a video if you wanted. Now there's two other features called time lapse and slow motion. So some of us may want to know, when would we use these things if we're doing videotaping? Well, time lapse is probably not used that much. You could stand the phone up in your window or something before it gets dark, and it would take little snippets. So it would look like it goes from late afternoon to late evening very, very quickly. You've seen time lapse where they show a plant growing very, very fast to its full maturity because they just have a camera just sitting there on the plant for months. But it's important to realize that, there's not a real reason to use time lapse unless you have a specific kind of project. And you can have some fun effects if you're overlooking a freeway, and you see what it does with the cars. But what it does is it takes little piece out of every 15 minutes or every certain amount of minutes and puts them together so it looks like all of this is happening in seconds. So most people probably don't have a normal everyday use for time lapse, but they want to give it to us. I mean, people have actually created full-length feature films that have been in the movie screens. They've made movies with the iPhone, and many times people use their iPhones in television news to take pictures of when the roving reporters are out. No longer do they have to carry these giant cameras because iPhones are so superior in terms of the resolution and capturing the film. Now, slow-mo is fun. You might use it if, for instance, you go to your grandchild's field day or some kind of event. I like to illustrate this by this example. There's something called broad jump, and let's say the little one is standing there, and when they say go, he or she is running through this broad jump area. And at one point, they're going to leap in the air and try to jump as far as they can. If you're videotaping it, it's very cute as it is. But what if you added a little slow motion effect so that when the child is in the air and it's like on what they do on TV, or the child is just clawing the air to get very, very fast he looks like an Olympian, or she. So what's important to realize is slow-mo is not making everything on the film slow. It adds the effect somewhere. Then you have to go in and use the edit feature. And we're going to talk about editing in a minute. You have to use the edit feature, which is found in the Photos program, in the Photos app, to go in there, and you can move it. Actually, you can see the slow motion effect. You can take your finger and just move it to the area where you want the film to slow down. You can do it with a baby crawling. The baby suddenly learned how to crawl and is crawling all over the place. And at one point, you could really surprise and the kids. Look at the baby, suddenly slowly showing every hand on the ground, every foot, every knee, that the child got so coordinated in terms of doing this. So I think that's a very important and really fun way of using video, and it's very easy. So now that we've talked about the camera, it's very important. As you can see, do you see the Photos app? It looks like a flower with all the colors of the rainbow. So if you hit Photos, you're going to actually see many different photos that you're working with. Let's say that I am working with a photo of myself and my dog. So if I tap onto this photo, you will see on the bottom, there are 3 icons. Above it is all the different recent pictures. You see the heart, and you see the box with the arrow that's share, and you also see the garbage can to get rid of it. Now, my question is, first of all, when you hit the garbage can and you delete this photo, is it really gone? The answer is no. It's transferred to a folder called recently deleted photos. I always, like to make a joke about how if you really want to delete something, if anybody knows this, they can really find it. So you want to make sure that you go to the recently deleted folders to make sure it stays for 30 days. So not only is it cramping up and, your phone, it's what it's doing is it's taking up room so that you can't, it's just going to grow and grow all the room that these photos and videos are taking up. You haven't really deleted them. A lot of people don't know how to find the recently deleted folders, but you will see them when you go to albums. You see when it says albums at the top, and notice I've tapped the albums screen. If I start to scroll up, you will see these different kinds of categories. And if you just keep going, you'll see at the very bottom, recently deleted. So I have 300 recently deleted, but they haven't left my phone. So they're taking up room and taking up all the storage I have. You'll see above recently deleted, you have bursts. So you see I have a lot of bursts in there. And this is where you can, and this time lapse, it shows you all the screenshots. Everything is very, very helpful to see. Anyway, if I'm back in the screen where I have my photo, and it also says edit at the top. So that's important too. This allows me, if I want, to brighten this photo, to do some things with the photo. So once again, I want to go through everything you can do with a photo that you've taken. The most important thing is bring the photo up so it takes up the whole screen. As you know, this screen allows you to pick a photo that you want, but this one brings up these icons. Now what we know is the garbage can will delete a photo. It'll sit there for 29 days unless you go back to albums and look for recently deleted, where you can delete them. And by the way, if you accidentally delete something, you can recover it. You can just go to the recently deleted folder, tap on the picture, and then tap recover, and it'll put it right back. So it's a protective device for you to have. Now, there's a heart you can see at the bottom also. Many people never use this heart, but it actually will add a photo. When you tap it, it fills in the heart, and it is part of a favorites folder. That's very exciting because I don't know if you've ever been with people and they say, let me show you the grandkids, or let me show you the pictures of this event. And they're paging and paging through all their photos. Which one is it? They're going through all of them, and it's taking many minutes and it's taking a lot of time. But instead, if they have a favorites, you'll notice under albums, there's a favorites, you see, and it was just added, me and my dog, to the favorites. So I think that's really, really important to see that you can just go on any picture and add that to the favorites album. That means instead of paging through thousands of photos and taking everyone's time, you just tap favorites and say, here they are, and here are the pictures of the event. You may have 20, even 50 is different than thousands. So once again, we have the garbage can to delete it, but it's really not going to be deleted. And we have the heart, which now, let's say it was not a favorite anymore. You would just tap it. So it's just a hard outline. It will be removed from that folder. So you don't delete it out of a favorites folder. You just unfavorite it by tapping it again. I have kept it as a favorite, but if I wanted, I'd tap it again to take it out of that folder. Most of us have used this before where we share. And when I hit share, you will see a lot of different, you'll see some people I text with on a regular basis. So I could just tap that circle and the picture you see that's already selected. You see the picture select with a check mark will go there. Then I have email. If I keep going, you'll notice all the choices print. I can print the picture. So this is the share. A lot of people don't always ask me, where is print? We can never print. Well, print is equal to share, or I should say share is equal to print. And that's what's important. Now, as we go into the final moments of today, what we're going to do is there's edit at the upper area. Do you see edit? When I tap edit, you're going to see a very exciting moment that there are tools. At the top, there's a few tools like fixing red eye, if that has happened, and 3 dots that have to do with you could mark up and annotate a photo with text. But most of us are going to use the ones down here. For instance, you will see there's a magic wand. Do you see that? It's right here. We have the magic wand. And when I tap that, it brightens the photo. So it's actually brightened it a little bit. If I really want to work on it, I come over here and you'll see all these saturation. The sun is brightness. So do you see the sun? If I tap brightness, I can start going left or right. See how I've darkened it, and now I've brightened it. So I can actually do a lot of these features. So this is all controlled from the bottom where the sun shows that you're on the brightness. If you go notice these 3 circles, you may see that these are familiar. We have used the filters before. If I tap filters, you get original, and then you just move to see what will the picture, see how the picture changes? What will the picture look like if I pick one of these? This is post-processing. We did this in the camera for pre-processing to try to get the look we wanted before we took the picture. Many times you didn't think of it, and now you've got to do it after. So that's important. One of the most important things to know about is the next one. And by tapping on the next one, you will see that it's called the cropping. It lets you crop the picture. Notice on the sides of the picture, there's a little area. Do you see that looks bolded? This allows you to actually, what could you do? You can crop, you can move it so that you can cut off the very top area of the photo. So I would hit done on the bottom if I was happy with the crop, and it would take me back. Now I press edit again at the top, and I want to just show you, it turns into something called revert. What does that mean? It means you can get back your original photo. So I'm going to hit revert to original. So do you see how Apple's always putting a net so that you will not fall without having a safety net underneath? You will not lose things. Once again, back in the edit key, we see the magic wand, which does an automatic enhancement. We see other keys next to it, other icons next to the magic wand that let us do each one, saturation, brightness individually, and you can play with it. And there's usually a area down here where you can just move it left and right to see the actual effect. Lower than that, you have cancel and done, but you have the crop key and the filters. And the sun, of course, represents doing each effect by itself. Now, I want you to know one thing is that you can straighten, you can crop by taking the edges with your finger and moving them inward, and that's helpful. But a lot of people ask me, how do you rotate? How do you flip on the other side or rotate? Well, it's just important to realize that in the upper, once you hit crop and it's hidden, you will see that you can actually rotate by tapping these actual buttons. See, I've just rotated it. So a lot of people get pictures upside down from people, and they've been looking fruitlessly for months. How do I rotate a picture? I'm supposed to be able to improve a picture, you know, what's going on? Well, as you can see, you can rotate the picture, but you can't find the rotate unless you hit crop. So I think that's very, very helpful to know. You also have flip. If you want the dog on the other side, for instance, you can press the flip. So that's very helpful too. So a lot of people find that it's very easy to fix these photos that they have by just using this edit area. Now, there are a couple of other things very important to see. Do you see the three dots? When you tap the three dots at the top, that always means more. And actually it means more on any phone, any menu. And this shows that I have something that says markup, which you all have. When you tap markup, you will see that you can use a pencil. See, you can erase, you can do colors, you can draw things, you can press the plus key and suddenly type in text. This is something to play with quite a bit, but make sure it's a photo that you don't treasure, because sometimes it's hard to get all these off if you've been drawing squiggles and lines. Another thing I wanted to show you very quickly is if you have any photo apps, like I have one called Retouch, and what it does is it allows you to take things out of the picture. Let's say you broke up with somebody, you can actually get them out of the picture. It can heal a picture if there's a bad area of the picture. There are a lot of wonderful photo editing programs that do even more than what comes with your phone. And when you download them from the App Store, while you're editing your picture with Apple's tools, you can also hit this more button and they will be listed here. So that's something to be helpful to know that you can do. But I would get very, very used to doing what comes with Apple. Now, I do want to tell you that if you have some, I'm finished and I'm going to hit done. But if you have, and here we are with our heart and garbage can on the bottom. If you have the newer version like 14 on your phone, you will be happy to know that your information called metadata, where the picture was taken, is not sent out. For instance, if I wanted to do a search and I need to get out of the picture to do it, to get back to albums, so I hit the back key. You see the search, you can search for photos. Let me show you once again something that is very important. Here I have my phone and I have the picture is taking up the screen. We know we can edit and we know we can delete. We can make it into put it in the favorites folder automatically by just hitting the heart, or we can share it with people. But if you lift the photo up, you will notice, and it's very, very hard to see it, but it says add a caption. I could type in my name or the dog's name, and it's added it as a caption. Okay, so let's say I type in cowboy dog. Cowboy, because of the hat. So as you can see, I've typed in cowboy, and then at the top, I'm going to hit done. When I hit the back button a couple of times, you will notice that there is a search button. And this is the last thing I'm showing you, but when you hit search and I type in cowboy, it will search. You see, it will come up with cowboy. You see cowboy hat, it will come up with whatever you search for. So anyway, I'm hoping all these wonderful tricks, we did texting tricks, we did camera tricks, and we did photo editing tricks and searching for your photos. It's just the beginning. So I really hope you really enjoy learning this information about your phone. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Liz.
Thank you. We'll
I
talk.
use that label thing all the time.
That's true. I do. Well, take care, and we'll see. I'll leave, and it was a lot of fun.
Thanks, Liz.
Bye, then.